got news for you. Yes, I do. I'm like your angel of love, girl. I've come to see you through. So when you cry, let me wipe your tears. When you're scared, I wanna be there to calm your fears. When you're in need, baby, ring my phone. I'll run right over and we'll make love all night long.
Greetings and salutations. I stole that greeting from somebody else. This is live from the cave and it's 2023. So I want to welcome you all. And as you notice, I finally got my 2023 wish. Sean Mason is fired. He is not here tonight and I am happy. So I'm your host, Glenn Murray, and I'm joined by three distinguished gentlemen. Well, three guys. We won't call them distinguished gentlemen. That's a stretch. But I'll let them introduce themselves in a minute. But first, I want to ask you, everybody, the little button that says share, push it. Push it often. Share with your friends. Share with your little Facebook groups. Share with all those groups of angry women that are mad at men because they won't do what they say they do. Share it with that group especially. Share it with your cooking groups. Share it with your wine groups, especially because hopefully they're drinking while they're listening to this because it'll help go down easier for all the information and knowledge we're going to share with them as well. But it's 2023. It's the first show of the season. Who is joining me here? We'll start from the top to my right and let the production team, as he's known to most people.
Remember that.
And we like to call him the wizard, the man behind the curtain with no real power, but actually, pushing some buttons.
He knew that was going to happen.
He knew that was going to happen. There's no way he didn't know that was going to happen.
It wouldn't be 2023 if I didn't get kicked out at least once. I had to start the year right.
Hey, I'm Roger Jackson, managing partner of Independent Network Television, one-time best-selling author on Amazon.
That's so cute.
Watch it.
Right.
I'm petty today. Petty captain. And we have a lot of stuff going on. Got some projects going on here in Chicago, short films starring Damon Williams and Tiffany Curtis. Going down to Houston next month to film some authors and a feature coming up and a few good things, despite our studio being flooded out.
All right. Lover of life.
Hey, it's Robert Hazard. That's right, the lover of life. Happy New Year to you guys. Thanks so much for rocking with us and joining us. I have a company called the Hazard Group that helps small businesses with innovation, website design, build, all that good stuff. And, I think I'm a two-time best-selling author.
Aww.
Here we go.
Let me see what else I can get in before Mel jumps in here. I am a foodie. I am a traveler. I did a little something with Wine Crawl USA. So yeah, I do a number of little things here and there.
Wonderful. Invisible man.
I am visible by the mark that I leave on the world, Glenn Murray. My name is Mel Roberson. I am a 7-time Amazon best-selling author. Glenn will get an invoice for that later. No, seriously though, man, I love being here with the fellas on a weekly basis. I'm a principal officer in the Roberson Resource Group. My wife and I have a professional development company where we provide not only professional development and personal development, but resources to businesses large and small. In addition to that, I'm an actor, occasionally play a homicide detective on Chicago PD, been on a few other TV shows, and yeah, one of the founders of The Cave. Let's get it cracking.
Yes, let's get it cracking. So, like I said, I'm Glenn Murray. I am a 7-time fantasy football league champion. Yes, baby. I just won my league again. So as you can see, I got the big gold belt right there and the big bottle of champagne right there that we're going to pop because I pop champagne like I won the championship because I win the championships. That's who I am and that's what I do. Want to say a shout out to Sean. I talked about him being fired. He's not really fired. He's actually sick tonight. So we hope you get better, Sean. We hope you're watching, tuning in.
TT?
we're not gonna put you on because your nose is running and it's really not a pretty sight. We saw him earlier today.
He ain't a pretty sight when he's healthy. But
well,
anyway.
yeah, that's true too. But it's even worse now. So we're just gonna leave him off. But we're gonna get right to it. I saw a TikTok video, gentlemen, that was really interesting, and I would love to get your thoughts on it. There was a woman who was addressing the gold digger question. And
I ain't saying she a gold digger.
But yeah. Well, here was the problem. It was the second half of that sentence that she had a problem with. Her question was, why are broke dudes always worried about the gold diggers? She's like, basically, broke men, gold diggers don't want you in the first place. So why are you so concerned about what she's chasing? She's like, they can afford gold diggers, they're gold diggers, and they present a lifestyle that the gold diggers appeals to the gold diggers. She's like, why is it always the broke men always talking about the gold diggers and women doing them wrong and everything else? And fellas, do you agree? Is it mostly broke dudes that are always worried about a girl taking their money that they don't actually have to start with? Or a woman taking their money that they don't have to start with. Roger, you like to stir up controversy. We'll kick it off with you.
I don't agree. I don't think broke dudes are complaining because I don't think that a true gold digger can spot a broke dude a mile away. They know the fake shoes, the fake watch, the fake everything. So I don't think that's really true. However, they may be the most sensitive because if they do get, we want to say a bronze digger, a copper digger. They giving them girls that's just trying to take his last dollar. He doesn't have a lot to begin with, and she takes everything. Then he's probably going to be the more bitter one than the brother that has something and just upset that, okay, she's just after me. I paid a few bills, bought her some hair, got her the good hair off the good pony type stuff. Then, it's no big sweat. But if I'm, hard working man and I barely got it and you taking everything I got, then I'm gonna be bitter. But I don't think most
hair is expensive these days, though. You buy hair, that's like 2 car notes.
Yeah.
You know what? Stop buying hair.
Yeah.
Mel, what say you?
I would venture to say, first of all, let me say this. The thoughts and opinions of the other gentlemen on this show do not necessarily reflect that of Mel Roberson, the Roberson Resource Group, or any other entity that I represent, just so you all know.
So I've been fired as HR manager of the Roberson Group?
What Mel is saying, what Mel really is saying is he's a freak.
No, Mel, I said what I said. I said what I said.
I said what I said.
I said what I said. But I would venture to say I think the less fortunate in financial status gentlemen talk about it more because it's something easy for them to talk about that diverts the attention from their financial status. So it's something that they could say that gives them power in a conversation because the power may not be in their pocketbook.
So is that the equivalent of I didn't want her anyway?
Kind of, sort of. It could definitely be that. The other thing that I'll say too is that the affluent are worried about it. Like, if you got a little money, you never want to be had. You never want to be a sucker. You never want to be the guy that gave up too much or what have you because she was only out for that. I think guys that are financially stable and that can provide are willing to, under the right circumstances and with the right person. But if they are only in it, the woman is only in it for that, then yeah, we never want to be taken advantage of in that fashion.
All right, love her life.
The last part of what Mel said. I mean, if you got it, it's not really a big deal. But I think it's all about we don't want to be taken advantage of. When I've been in a situation where I had money, or a lot of money, I was okay with the expensive meals, trips, etc. But then when you got to cut back, COVID, it's a little different. But I think it all comes down to not just wanting to be taken advantage of.
So do you think you've been to Miami plenty of times, Rob, and I have too.
Yep.
We see the sights on South Beach, and you see the 70-year-old gentleman with the 25-year-old. Do you think for any moment he's thinking, "Gosh, she's taking advantage of me"? I should really stop this.
He's probably very thankful she's taking advantage of him.
He's probably hoping
Right.
she takes
I
advantage of
think it's levels to it, right? I think it's levels to it. Is when you get to the point where you're old or that old, in the example that you're giving, and you know that you're going to pay for companionship, and that's a stretch using that term, right? you're gonna pay for companionship.
That is
Then it's like you know what you're getting into. Those when you know what you're getting into, I don't think it's as bad as the gold digger that's just like, I'm gonna pull the wool over his eyes and get all this money.
yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. I would only hope that, if I ever got to 70, that I could go to Miami and, experience,
Next year, Rob. It's not far. You're right around the corner.
I'm about to say, you talking about
This is
next
you.
year.
This is 70
I know,
and this
right?
is Robert.
Hey, Roger,
Slapping it in the face.
you trying to say I'm old, Hey, if you
No, I
see
didn't say
me
that.
in
Season.
Miami, don't say nothing to me.
No, you're only 3 years older than whoever she is in Miami. I get it. I know the game. I understand.
But I mean, it gives us life to be able to experience those things with someone that is younger, right? That's what all reports suggest.
Right.
That when we go back to the fountain of youth, we become young and vibrant as well.
So how young is too young? That leads to the next question. Let's just say you're all single. I know a couple of you are married and stuff, but we won't tell your ages because y'all are older than me. So I won't put that out there.
Stop lying, Glenn. Stop.
Well,
Stop. I'm the youngest one on the show, and it's okay.
yeah,
It's
he's
okay. It's okay, big bro. Big bro, it's okay.
Oh, wait a minute.
Big
First
bro.
you were Uncle Mel.
Hey,
now
yeah,
I'm Big Bro. You've been uncle for
I mean,
like
you
3
still
years.
you still my nephew. That has nothing.
There we go.
Listen,
There we go.
my dad has nephews that are older than him.
Getting to the question, how old is
young?
old enough?
How
And
young?
how young is too young? Basically, how young is too young? As old enough is a relative term to some old men, to some dirty ones.
I think it really is mental.
I think so.
Yeah, no, I think so. I know, folks. There's a small difference, a substantial difference, but I was shocked at the maturity level or just the interest level. If you have somebody that, like, you have the cougar that's out there, whatever, but if she's dating a guy that loves staying at home, reading books, drinking wine, and he just is chill, doesn't like to be in the streets, they're a perfect match. Versus a woman that may want to be in the club every other night. So I think it really does come down to what their interests are, and if they're the same, then that works.
True.
I think it's a combination of the two, right? I think it's a combination of interest and maturity and the stage in life you're at.
Yeah.
Like when you're older, if you're in your 60s dating somebody in their 40s, the level of establishment and maturity or whatever that a 40-something-year-old might have in comparison could be all right. My wife is in her early 40s, and I call her Myrtle because she acts so old sometimes, right? But the other
If
part
she
of
takes
it
me and
is,
take you down, I'm doing it.
but I think the other part of it is, like, when I was in my 30s, I dated somebody that was 12 years younger than me. 12 to 13. I don't remember exactly what the spread was. And it was to the point where I'm like, man, your brain ain't even done growing yet. And I'm not saying that in a bad way. Like, there's still development in your brain up to age 25, 26, right? That's still taking place from a physiological standpoint. Yeah. But there was just a difference of life experiences, maturity, financial stability, and just knowledge about the world. And in some cases, that's okay if the other person, and it doesn't matter who's the older one, if the other person is willing to learn and shorten their learning curve from the other person, But when they just want to be young and wild, and you got somebody else that's not trying to be young and wild, then where you are in life plays a big part in it.
Very true. Robert, did you have anything to add?
Yeah, I do. I'm like, I feel like Music Soul Child. Teach me how to love you. And it don't matter how young necessarily. Well, let me take that back.
Wow. I was about to say you're about to make a statement there.
No.
Take him off the screen.
No. I'm thinking about.
Is your name Robert Hazard or Robert Kelly?
I know. Somebody put that in our chat box, and that threw. I'm thinking about what you said because how young is young. But I think I always had this thing where you couldn't be too young. I've got kids that are young, right? My son's 37, so I would never want to date somebody,
younger than your kids, right?
But when we look at these people today, I mean, you can't really tell who's young or not, really.
That's why I always say I'm the youngest. It's easy for me to say.
It's easy for you to lie, Glenn.
Yeah, don't let it fool you.
Can somebody mute Mel? I'm getting feedback. Or maybe it's just him talking. It's the same thing, though. I can't tell the difference.
But I think it does depend on maturity level. Because every 37-year-old or 38-year-old doesn't have to be in the club.
All right.
So I'm open.
You're open. Okay. Roger, if you were a single man out there at your advanced age, what would be too young for you?
There's only 4 of us, so I'm gonna leave you on the screen longer. Too young. I don't think I can go below about 30.
I couldn't do 30, bro. I couldn't do 30.
I can't go below 30. Probably about 35 or so. And to Mel's point, I think it really is more life experiences than anything else. We can have a lot of stuff in common, maturity level, but I want to make sure she's had enough experiences that she knows what she wants and still not trying to figure that out. Not just professionally, personally, just has an idea.
Yeah. No, I get it. I feel the same way. I mean, I have a younger sister, so it's within 5 years of my younger sister. That was like a hard, fast rule. You had to be at least 5 years older than my youngest sister, which would still put you at about 15 years younger than me, and that was still hard to do, and I never really did that a lot. I actually dated older when I was younger, and it was interesting because I remember talking to somebody about that. They're like, oh, you just like cougars. I'm like, no, I don't like cougars, but like women in their 40s have kind of lived through at least one divorce, most of you. You're settled in, you got a decent job, you're not looking to swing for the fences financially with some man or anything else. So there's a settled, and I don't want to say settled in a bad way, but there's a settled nature about older women that I like, that I could relate to, because I had ambitions beyond just getting married. It wasn't just about getting married. And older women in their 40s were more educated on building a life, building finances, educated about the world. They traveled a little bit and everything else. So it wasn't just hitting the 28 to 35-year-old marriage zone that most women get in when they get in that zone where all your friends are getting married. Then you're wondering what's wrong with you. You're cursing out your boyfriend at every wedding because he hasn't proposed yet. So every wedding, you can't get to the reception and dance because you're fighting with your girlfriend and you got to take her home because she's pissed off. Stuff like that. And I'm like, I didn't want to do that. So I'd rather date older people who are more comfortable with who they are and where they are in life. So that was always appealing to me at the time.
I think that it's important that the younger woman that you're dating know when you have a mutual pain, and she knows when to call 911. And the fact that I'm not joking.
Hey. That was Sinbad's set.
I didn't want to say Sinbad.
That was Sinbad's set, and it came to life.
Right.
He got back with his wife, and she recognized the stroke and saved that man's life.
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't want to because him going through what he's gone through.
Yeah.
I omitted using his name.
Oh man, he spoke that into existence. He's like, look, you need a good woman that can recognize the signs of a stroke.
Right.
And he went right back to his ex-wife, and 5 years later,
yeah,
saved his life.
Yeah. Well, I ain't going back to exes, but I think that you know, you need to. There are some things that we do need to learn.
Let the record show that Roger made the joke. He took Sean's place in making at least the first joke of the year about Robert and his marriages came from Roger, not Sean. I'm shocked.
Only
If I
because I
had
love
bingo, it would have been on Sean, but obviously not.
So anyway, yeah.
All right.
Right along.
Yeah, moving right along. Enough about dating women too young for us.
Yes, let's move on, please. Oh,
yeah,
hey, we got 5 new views. Go ahead.
Our viewership went up from that, though.
Right?
Because I get ratings. That's what
it's
I
weird
do.
because I see them on Facebook. I also see them on YouTube and Twitch and Twitter.
Really? Oh yeah, you get to see all the views that
Yeah.
come in. So we're available now, Roger. Where on Twitch?
On Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, 2 YouTube pages, and of course Facebook.
Okay. So we've expanded our coverage for 2023, y'all, and we're going to do even more. So we appreciate you watching us. This is Live from the Cave. It's Glenn, Robert, Raj, and Mel, minus Sean, who we miss, our brother. We'll see him next week. I'm sure he'll be back with some
He's
fancy
in the
hat
comment
on.
section, kind of showing off.
Oh, is he in the comments? Oh,
Yeah,
Rob,
you know, he had to
Texas, live
say
in
something
Texas.
about
There
my
he is.
exes, but that's all right. I'll get him later. Can we delete his comments?
Oh, I got to put it up there for prosperity.
There he is. There he is.
All right,
So, yeah.
I see something in the comments probably about to say move on here in a minute.
Probably so. That'll be him, or it'll be Keisha giving us orders in the back.
Right.
So again, new year. I want to talk to you guys about grading yourself. What would you give yourself, your performance, your goals, your aspirations for 2022? How would you rate yourself? If you ate on an A to...
I'll take Sean's place now. We're talking performance. What are we talking about? Hey, that's what Sean was saying. I'm just saying.
And he'd get right into the camera like that, right?
He would.
He would lead right into it.
I know, he would. Exactly.
I got my dungeon in the back.
Whatever you want to rate yourself on, but how would you rate yourself for 2023? And there's a follow-up question. For 2022, there's a follow-up question for 2023 about this. So let me know. Robert, we'll start with you.
You know, you said from a performance perspective. I'm sorry.
Yeah, 8 on a scale, A, B, C, D, E, F. If you want, you can be F. F.
No, I've never been F. But rated face. Well, somebody called me an F, but I'd probably say that I'm a B for 2022.
Why a B?
Did you say that we had to explain?
Show your work. Yes, you got to show your work.
You need receipts? Because I got receipts.
I don't want to see the receipts at the clubs you be going to. I really don't, because I think they only print out business meeting on those kind of receipts. So I don't want to see those.
That's what I wrote. My CPA said, you need those. That's what I got. I think that when I rate my performance overall, I think the B is good for me. I could say that I'm an A and walk on water, but I leave that to Jesus. So I just want to be the B piece. I treat people well. I've done some great things. I think God would be proud. So I'm gonna give myself a B.
No, you did just throw God in there too, right?
He paused, like he was waiting for God's confirmation.
I know, yes, my son, like thunder was gonna rumble. So God probably raised the eyebrow. Was like, what, really?
He woke him up from his nap. Wait, what?
Robert's like, God's like, am I grading on a curve now? You gave yourself a full B. Mel, I'm gonna give you an A, Mel, for marrying up. But I'll let you grade the rest of yourself for 2022.
So I would give myself an A because my life is rated on happiness. So, of course, the biggest room in the world is the room for improvement. And there are always things that I think I could have done better or what have you. But at the end of the day, I rate myself based on my level of happiness. And because of that, I give myself an A for last year.
Okay. That's a good reason. Roger.
Yeah. Wow. I honestly don't know because depending on the part of my life, I'm really hard on myself. And so personally, humbly, I'd give myself an A, just because I'm there's a song called Impossible, I think it is. Like the second line in it says the world's on your shoulders. I got my parents, my mother-in-law, my daughter, I'm running about 3 households, but I want to run them. I take that responsibility. The day I married really before I married my wife, I told her father, you guys will never go to a home. Her brother with special needs said he'll never go. Whatever it is, they're going to move in with me. I'll take care of them. So that I'm fine with. That's I don't worry about. Professionally, being outside of corporate, where I kind of had that safety net, and now being an entrepreneur is different. But I'm also an entrepreneur with partners. So you got 3 other individuals' decisions affect what you do. Where if it's just me, Raj can roll. My wife knows that I'll get it done. I don't quit for whatever the situation is. But when you have other individuals, now that's the balance of collaboration and figuring things out and working what's best for the company, not what's best for Roger. Right. And sometimes that can be the challenge. But I think if I had to give myself just overall, it'd probably be a B, just right there. And that'd be the average between me trying to do more with the C. The C. When I came in and saw those pipes busted at the office, man, let me tell you something. I wanted to walk right back out. For those of you that don't know, our studio had, I counted them, I found out from the guy that came by to fix them, 12 pipe burst. 12 pipes bust in our studio.
Wow.
Not one piece of actual equipment got damaged, though. So furniture, the floors, all this. Well, I shouldn't say that. The TV and a couple of lights. But that was frustrating. That set us back. I had a lot of things that were supposed to get done in the studio this month that we had to change around. But yeah, probably about a B.
Okay, that's good. I mean, I think everything you've handled, and knowing all the stuff that you've juggled through the show, I would give you an A too because of that, because of everything that you do. And not only for this show, but for the other shows, for all the shows on NDTV, the family, everything else that's gone on in the last 2 or 3 years, just the trips to Detroit in the middle of the night, stuff like that, that we remember. So yeah, you deserve an A for that.
Oh, man, you deserve full screen for that, man. Appreciate you, bro.
I know that's probably the nicest thing I'm gonna say to you all year, and it's only January.
I'll take it.
You better tape that. You better cut that one out and make that a sizzle reel or something. That's it. That's all I got for you. For me, I would give myself a B-, and I'm hard on myself. I'm incredibly hard on myself. So I give myself a B- because some of the decisions I made toward the last quarter of the year really should have been made either earlier in 2022 or even before that. There's some things I had to let go. There's some ways I had to look at business that I kind of knew in the back of my head, but the part of me that just doesn't want to give up and wants to hold on to stuff and try to make it work because I'm so damn stubborn sometimes. So I kept holding on. And at some point, a little voice said, fool, you got to let this go. This is going to either run you crazy or run you into being broke or something like that. So I had to let some stuff go. So I give myself a B- overall. Now, there's some other things I did that were really good. I was able to this year actually work with a lot of startups and people that are trying to grow their businesses in a field that I'm very knowledgeable about, and being able to offer my experience to them and really help them. So it really gave me a path toward 2023 and what I want to accomplish, because I was able to start doing that. I was able to travel the world and actually speak at a conference. I was able to speak at conferences locally. I was able to be on the board of some startups and help them understand fintech and financial services and payments, stuff that I've done and know for over 20 years. So that really set me on a path for what I want to do this year, which is the second half of my question is, what are the things you want to accomplish this year? And I'm not talking about resolutions. I'm not talking about losing weight and all that other stuff. I'm talking about what are the real changes you want to affect in 2023, either in your life, in your family's life, in somebody's life, or just in the world. Mel, I'll let you go first. You're settled into the library.
I'm gonna teach Glenn how to be a nice person.
That's impossible. Okay, that's not gonna happen. Hey, I am a nice person.
I got BHAGs, big, hairy, audacious goals, man. You know what I mean? So
really, don't be talking about your private parts like that. Okay, just let that go. All right, we don't want to hear about that. We don't want to hear about
so like
all
I
of
said,
this.
I'm gonna teach Glenn to be nice.
This from the person that gives
You all see
disclaimers.
how much I have my work
his,
cut out for me. How much I have my work cut out for me. So no,
he's
I
talking about
think
his big hairy nads.
I did not say that. So again, ladies and gentlemen, the thoughts and opinions of Glenn Murray and other people on the show don't reflect that of Bell Roberson and any other entities that I represent. But the real thing that I'm really up to, man, is leaving a legacy and making an impact on the world. Right. And that looks like different things for me in different ways. Getting more involved in the organizations that I'm a part of, as a Kappa, as a Mason. I'm doing more professional development work and helping people having those light bulb moments, preparing my TED Talk for this year. I have a TED Talk that I'm working on, because a lot of what I do in the professional world has to do with training and has to do with teaching techniques and concepts and growth mindset concepts that don't fit into the parameters of what a TED Talk actually is. And so I did a talk on the true meaning of legacy to some insurance professionals not too long ago, and some of the things that sparked in me really gave me the groundwork for this TED Talk that I'm working on. So just really want to make a difference, man. I want to be mentioned in rooms that I've never been in, not because of ego or anything else, but because I've really made a difference in the way that people think and how their lives are impacted with the things that I share with them. I'm a huge fan of the ripple effect. When you throw a pond in the water, it may land in one place, but that ripple that goes out, depending on how big a splash you make, will determine how far that ripple goes out. And I just really want to see people live their dreams and actualize their fullest potential.
Okay. Rob.
So for this year, I'm really passionate about mentoring young boys, or young men for that matter, particularly in the area of mental health. I recognize that a lot of our Black men are struggling with mental health, but also in the school system, we've got a lot of young kids that are struggling because they don't have, father figures. I was on a call today with a young man just kind of talking about, those kind of things. So my heart aches when I hear these kind of, conversations. So next week, excuse me. So next month, I mentor me and two other guys. We mentor some fourth graders in the suburban school system. So we're going to be back doing that starting next month, and February the 7th. We're going to be back doing that. So I get joy by doing that. But one of the things, Glenn, that I've been putting off doing. I was a successful sales executive for AT&T for over 18 years, and Bank of America and all of that. And I've got to change my mindset back to, I felt some kind of way over the years about going back into a sales role, but in reality, we're all sales leaders each and every day.
Sales.
Exactly.
Everything is sales.
Everything is sales. And, and so I got to embrace it. I was telling myself this, as mantra yesterday, that I'm going to be doing that, again, helping, businesses and myself with selling, services, products, etc. So I'm looking forward to, I said all that to say that I'm looking forward to, 2023, because there's a lot of great things on the horizon.
Roger, for you, what's 2023 going to bring? Or what are you going to bring to 2023?
Wow. I'm listening to their very nice and perfect answers. And honestly, I think this year's funny. I'm going back to a conversation I had maybe about 2 hours before the show started. I'm bringing pretty much my relentlessness. I've kind of been that way, but just past few years to other situations, leaving corporate, like, Robert, things kind of changed, priorities changed. And I've always been the person that was the go-to guy to help other people. You know, I had a nonprofit we ran for some years that did college and career training for high school kids. And it ended up being for their parents who saw us doing their resumes and like, hey, I need a new resume. I need a promotion. I need a raise. And so we were doing that. But I realized, not knocking it, but I was focusing a lot more on outside of my house than inside of my house. And so while it's not going to sound politically correct, I'm going to focus mainly on me and my finances. And when I'm bringing in really, I think I said it maybe before we went live. Today, I spent about 3 hours on LinkedIn connecting with every vice president and executive at Hulu, Netflix, and I got about 6 acceptances and about 3 requests back for conversation. And it's just cold calls to sales that I actually met my wife doing that, and just being relentless and don't care. I've always been that guy that doesn't look up to anybody. I never get autographs. I really don't care who you are. We all are born, we all die. But I'm definitely going to pursue a lot more. I think mainly with my business because I'm an actor. I'm SAG. I've done some shows. I have a production company, but that was not the goal. I fell into it. It literally was just out of necessity. I was executive producer on a project, but to protect it, we created a company. And I just ended up being a partner in that. So there's a huge learning curve for that. When I'm looking around and seeing other people that are directing and completing films, I'm like, okay, what can I learn from this person? What can I learn from that person? But now that I realize what we have the studio, we have the ability to grow bigger. I just have been restricting us because I don't want to if I make my mistakes, I want to make them small. I don't want to make them, after I explode and they're like, ooh, that mistake cost me $500,000. I'd rather it cost me $5,000 than 50. But no, I think I'm just really bringing complete not ruthlessness, ambition, focus, and just being very deliberate in what I do, and just going for everything. This year, I'm literally going for absolutely everything. Yeah, man.
Raj, I want to speak to that for a moment, bro, because, and excuse me, this is an occupational hazard, but when you have that mindset, like you would rather make your mistakes small than big, then there's no room for growth.
Oh yeah, that's why I said I made that mistake. So now I'm
okay,
whatever the mistake is, I'm going.
Perfect.
Yeah.
One of my favorite scenes is in The Patriot, and Mel Gibson is taking his boys out into the woods when the other soldiers will come in, and he gives his son the musket, and he was like, what did I tell you? And he was like, aim big, miss big. Like, go for the shot. Take their heads off, basically, is what he's saying. Don't flesh wound them. Don't scare them. Aim big, miss big. And you got to have that type of attitude, man. You got to swing for the fences, bro. All great achievers that are massively successful sell out to something. And when you sell out to what it is that you want to accomplish, it goes down like it's a hole in the boat.
Yeah. Yeah, believe me, I learned. It's been a learning curve. It's not been an easy one, but I mean, I had to remind myself. I told one of my business partners today. I said I had to look at things like a ladder. If I just look at every rung as an actual fact of what we either have accomplished or what we have, then it's pretty much there. You don't look at the doubt. Don't look at the fear. What do you actually have? A studio. You have whatever the memories we have. I mean, one of my business partners builds all of our computers, so I don't have to worry about the IT department. The other people have to worry about outsourcing and things like that. So when I look at what we actually have done and what we accomplished, a lot of things that people don't know about, that's another thing I got to get used to. I'm not on social media. So one of the guys I know, Tavoris, I think you know Tavoris, Mel, he does a lot and didn't say it like, from now I'm telling everybody what I do. You got to brag on yourself sometimes. And I haven't been, because I'm like, you know what? I'm not that guy. Although people think I am. I'm not that guy, but I need to really get to that point where I post every single thing our company is doing and every single thing, because I think that success of those accomplishments will attract other individuals and other clients and say, oh, I didn't know you did that. Let me go ahead and do that too.
Yeah. And all of those are great. If I could take a piece of all of those, I probably would and just put mine together. But I think one of the things I had to learn is that there are some no's that I have to give to get me to that bigger yes that I need to be at. You know, sometimes it's sacrificing whatever looks like it's good for your present to get to a bigger future. Because sometimes those things that you're saying yes to are stumbling blocks, you know, and it's saying no to some people that want you to do some things that you've always done. It's saying no to people who just aren't in your circle anymore. And you have to understand that and make peace with that and know that you're moving forward. You can't drag anybody with you that is going to just be limp. You can't carry the bodies over the finish line for them. Everybody has to run hard and fast, and you have to surround yourself with a team that's running hard and fast. And there are people that aren't going to make it, and you got to realize that. You were going to say something else?
And even outside of that, Glenn, just in your circle and the people that are around you and the people that you love, even if it's not people that are running hard or fast, or people that you're in business with, or people that have goals and ambitions, it could be with family members. And I made a post the other day, you can't allow people to mistreat you just because you love them. A lot of times we tolerate people from things that we tolerate things from people that we love because we love them. And it's like, that's just who they are. No, that could be who they are, but they don't have to be it with me. You know what I mean? And so you can't tolerate people treating you a certain way or putting you in a position to have you in a downward spiral or less effective or less impactful just because you love them. And if your presence doesn't make an impact, then your absence shouldn't make a difference.
Make a difference. Exactly. So nobody is going to stand in the way of the goals that I have, and I will let go of whatever I need to let go of to get to that goal. So, you know, you put everybody on notice, or I'm putting everybody on notice that whatever I'm going for, I'm going to get it. And I'm going to do whatever it takes to get it and do whatever it takes to get there. As far as my life, I'm not going to change who I am. I'm still going to help my friends. I'm still going to love the people I love. I'm still going to support the people in the way that I can. But you'll notice the change in people when you're not supporting them the way they're used to you doing it. And you have to be okay with that too. Because if I don't grow, I don't live. It's not living to me just to be the same person I was last year or 2 years ago or, 10 years ago. You know, it's kind of like going back to high school and everybody expecting you to be the same. And it's like, no, that was 30 years ago. So that's not happening.
To the reunion,
30 years ago. Yeah. I haven't been out of high school for 30 years, Glenn.
I saw that coming.
Figure of speech. It was a figure of speech, Mel.
Yeah, but it was 30 years ago. It was 30 more than 30 years ago for you.
So here's a question. What would be your one word as we were talking about that for 2023? Would no be your word, Glenn? Or is there?
No,
is there
it's not like a year. It's not a year of no.
Okay,
but it's a year of more.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm asking myself more. How can I do more? How can I grow more? How can I learn more? How can I impact change more? How do I do things, to Mel's point and Roger's point, on a bigger stage? How do I take what I know? How do I take all that I know? Have I ever maximized everything that I know in a year and just ran hard with it?
So your one word is more?
Yeah, my one word is more.
What's yours, Mel?
Courageous.
I like that.
Courageous. Because I got some big goals.
Mm-hmm.
And I it's crazy because you get to a level of perceived success, right? Because you got good income, decent car, you're eating well, you're vacationing, et cetera, and it's like, man, I'm successful, and you're not.
Yeah.
Not because what you accomplished didn't matter, but where you are in comparison to your potential. If you're complacent, you're not successful.
Not successful.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. The minute you settle, you impact your success.
Yeah,
man. And so I'm looking, man, at I don't know if y'all saw my post yesterday. I said, if Halley's Comet split in the atom and the energy from the vortex in Sedona, Arizona, which is a very mystical, magical, spiritual place, if those three got together and had a baby, it would be my wife, right? So
I saw that.
See, look, that energy from the vortex just knocked something off my desk.
I thought that was
Golly.
I thought that was
her.
Mo doing something.
I wanna say
That's
that's Mo.
crazy. See,
Mo came in like, I'm gonna
like,
show you some
I'ma show
energy.
you.
my awards literally started falling off my desk, man. I'm like, y'all witnessed it here. So
Yeah.
that probably was my wife.
Right.
Or my grandma. My grandma does stuff like that. It's like, she'd be like, boy, I forgot what the heck I was saying. Shit, I almost
we
got
we were
clocked in the
talking
head
about
with
we were talking about the one word, but let me pop back to, I wanted to read some of the ones that are in the comments if you don't mind.
Cool.
You know,
Go ahead, Robert. Host this show, boy.
Yeah.
right. You
I
know,
just
so
put them on the screen.
we've got, you know, Sean who actually talked about his is fearless, you know, which is a great one. Jamie has action. Our own Keisha Rose has intentional, right? And so those are really good one words. If I had to pick one for me, it would be grace.
You're such a lover of life.
I know
You
right?
are. You're just so deep.
He back in church. That's all.
Praise God. Praise
He making
God.
up for them blank receipts from the strip joints. Your
But
waitress was peaches.
It's been a tough few years for me, and we talked about family and things like that where they've struggled as well. But I think that we have to extend, first of all, I have to extend grace to myself, right? Because it is about us, and you know, and not be too hard on myself, but not be too easy on myself. Hold myself accountable, but there's a measure of grace that has to come with that. And so I just want to, you know, extend grace to others that, you know, you may step on my toe as we're stepping together, you know, and I want to go easy on you as opposed to going in, if that makes sense. Roger, can I hear from you, and then I'm gonna give it back to Glenn. I just that one word thing just caught my attention, Glenn. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, that's cool.
No.
That's cool.
Relentless.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like I said. I'm. This is the year that, to Mel's point, I'm holding back. I'm not concerned about slipping, falling. I'm not concerned about missteps. You know, the last meeting we had, let all the business partners know that we'll have a discussion. But frankly, this is all I do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a side gig with mortgages and medical and car notes. This is all I do. So we're going to make it the best decision that we possibly can to clear out this year on top. And that's just relentless, you know.
Is it this year, guys, more than any other? And we came out of COVID. We came out of 24 months of COVID with last year. Last year was
That's
kind of the
part
year after that. Are we at a crossroads, each of us? And each of us are at different points in our lives. And I'm not talking about ages. I'm really talking about different points in our lives where there's some decisions that have to be made this year that are going to impact the next decade to 20 years of our lives. Do you feel like that's part of the motive for how you're feeling and how you're approaching this year? Because that's how I feel. I feel like every day, and I just talked to my dad in my whole financial review, which wasn't as great as I wanted it to be, but he was very realistic with me. He never sugarcoats it. He's like, every move you make, every dollar you spend is going to affect your investment future for the next 20 years. He's like, think about every dollar you spend. And he's right. He's right. I look at what I've spent stuff on, spent money on and things like that, but it's not just money. It's every interaction. It's every person I come in contact with. It's every good deed I do. It's every encouraging word I give. Those are the things that carry you through this life. Those are the things that impact other people. Those are the ripples that Mel talked about. So we all are at a crossroads where we need to make as many ripples as possible. Roger, you got a daughter that you're thinking about her future. We talked about that. Mel, you've got big goals. Robert, you got huge goals of just getting back into the work world and figuring all of that out. You know, for me, it's being in the work world, but now what does that mean? Because I don't just want to be in the work world. I don't just want to have a business. I want to have a business that impacts other businesses. I want to have a business that helps people become millionaires. I want to be able to make those connections with people. you know, and I finally saw that road last year. So I feel like I'm really at a crossroads now, because it's like, okay, I've got this energy. I know this comment is here. And now what am I going to do with this energy that I have? And how do I make that energy even more powerful and affect even more people? How do I make that ripple wide? How does that ripple become a wave? I think that's the crossroads that I'm seeing. And I don't know if you guys feel that way or want to speak to it, but that's kind of how I feel about it.
I think, and then I'm just going to jump in on this one for a second. Phil mentioned being unbothered was his word. And I look at that as saying, I don't give a F, So
that could be mine too, unbothered.
So we have to embrace those things, right? Focused, some of those. But if we are unbothered by some of the stuff that we see or people bring our way, I think it'll help us move forward easier and possibly faster. You heard that tonight at 9:51. 9:51. January 12th.
Okay. Roger, Mel, any other comments on that?
No.
No, not really. Just, I mean, the pandemic has a lot to do with it, because for what we do, other than doing post-production on other films, which we did about, I think, 2 or 3 over the during COVID, we were completely shut down. And so that obviously this show and others were kind of birthed out of that situation. Mm-hmm. So COVID did have a little bit to do with that motivation. Also realizing that if you don't have certain things in place I'm sure Mel can speak to, if you don't have certain things in place to guarantee some continuing income, you will find yourself in a really weird, unique position. Luckily, I had a couple of other things, and I was okay, but it just kind of opened my eyes. And then just like I said, just being focused and being true to who I am. And I had that realization that my business partners are filmmakers. One was an editor at HGTV. The other's done a lot, literally flip movies like people flip houses, make it for 5, sell it for 50, sell it for 100. But I'm not a filmmaker. I'm a business guy. And so if I stay in my lane and focus on the business, then I can grow the business and don't get too caught up into trying to make movies I enjoy acting, but focus truly on just the business side and grow that.
Yeah. I think go ahead, Mel.
No, I was gonna say, man, like one of my mentors got on me about like not being loud about what I do. I present the fruits of my labor, but I don't talk about my labor. People see the lifestyle that I have and the things that Mo and I are able to do and the travel and all of that. But like I post some videos every now and then of us speaking or whatever, but I don't post a lot about that. Glenn is one of my clients in Legal Shield, and I'm glad, but it's a lot of my friends that aren't. And I'm not a pushy car salesman or anything like that, but Jamie's one of my clients too, right? But like there are people that during the pandemic lost loved ones, or parents were in the hospital and they didn't have a last will and testament or healthcare power of attorney, which I could have got them for pennies on the dollar. And so now I'm feeling horrible because I just wasn't loud about what I do. I mention it and people kind of know, but I didn't make sure that my friends really have an understanding of this is what's available to you and it don't cost much. And I'm always worried about, well, what will my relationship be? But what will my relationship be if I had the answer to your cancer and I ain't say nothing? I'm going to feel worse about that than you feeling like, I pressured you into hearing a presentation that took 15 minutes. Then I don't care what you do after that. Yeah. So Raj, I say all that to say, bro, be loud about what you do, not in an arrogant way or anything like that. And this goes for all of you all. But I mean, hell, we got things that people need, and they're going to spend it somewhere. So they might as well spend it with us.
Yeah. I mean, we bless people in more ways.
What I need.
Oh my God. Okay, anyway, we bless people in more ways.
Yeah, he is. I saw that sip.
And proof of how you bless people in more ways than you know. And I swore I wasn't going to tell a story, but I sure have.
Oh, Lord. Sean's not here. He got a story.
I know. I got a story for y'all. I can't believe it either myself. But no, it's seriously. I reached out to somebody on Facebook and they were struggling with something. And I was like, let me just send you a book. And so I just put it on my heart to send them a book. And I sent them like Faith, Failure, Success book. Not looking for anything, not looking for a review, I didn't sell it to them or anything else. I'm like, just let me send it to you. And I do that a lot with people, and I don't really think about it. And I've dropped books in people's mailboxes or ebooks all the time. So we had a signing in Atlanta, Robert and I did. And not only did she come in with the book I sent her, she came in with copies of Lessons for the Little Boy, and she came in with friends with copies of the books as well for us to sign. I wasn't thinking of any of that, but she pulled me to the side and said, this book helped me so much and I learned so much, and you gave it to me. You knew you were a total stranger to me, and here was this man wanting to send me a book. And I'm like, yeah, I wasn't in your inbox trying to do anything else. I was trying to send you a book. That's all I wanted to do. And she's like, thank you so much. It did so much for me. I told my friend about it. She got the book and she bought Lessons for the Little Boy. Here's this one and everything else. So those little ripples are part of that great wave that I think we never need to forget. So yes, we do need to live out loud. We do need to bless people when we are able to. We need to tell people about Legal Shield. I had a friend that was going through a lot with her mother and needed power of attorney. And I was like, you just call Mel. You just need to call him, get the power of attorney done. You can do it. The form is right there. You can print it off, get everything done for you, and get legal advice about it. Little stuff like that. But doing that, and Mel, you don't even know this, doing that probably saved her thousands of dollars.
I know it does.
Yeah. But I mean, there was a situation where the family was coming in, trying to take the money and everything else. There was a lot that happened with that. So making me actually just saying, call Mel, not even thinking about it, like what it would do. 2 years later, you probably saved that woman so much money and so much stress and heartache by doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's proof.
When two things real quick, because I know we got to come to a close.
Yeah.
When I had a presentation some years ago, and Sandra Bland's mom came to the presentation, and she hugged me afterwards, and she said, because one of the things we do is that we have a 24/7 legal emergency number, and she said, I wish my baby would have had this when she got pulled over. Maybe she would still be alive.
Wow.
Bro, when I tell you I cried like the ugly cry in front of 300 people in a hotel conference room, I'm bawling because I'm like, man, this is about the mission. This ain't about the commission. That's the first thing I want to say. Second thing I wanted to say, not just live out loud, but love out loud. Like, I'm new to this whole publicly in love thing. Even in my past relationships, I ain't post a whole lot or whatever. I kind of like to keep my private life private. That's just the kind of person I am, even when I'm in a relationship. However, I will say that there have been so many people that have thanked me for posting stuff about Mo, and thanked her too for posting stuff about me, because they're like, man, you give me hope. Like, I'm 46 just like you, Mel. I'm younger than Glenn, and there's still hope for me. And there's still hope for me to find love and find my person and all of that other stuff, man. So when I used to say I'm not gonna be that annoying Facebook couple that's posting, I'm just sharing part of my life and letting people know, like, man, this Black love thing, or love period, does exist. And you got to believe that it does, and you can get it. No matter how many times you fail, Robert, you can get it again.
I will get you later.
Hey, I just want to add real quickly, Sean. I don't know if you're still watching, but that's how you do a story. It was 1 minute and 3 seconds. So just a little bit. Take it. It's saved. You can review it. So
this is for training. This is why I'm being a host. This is why I'm coming to take your spot. So get that snot cleaned up, get your nose clear, but you're gonna be on the second chair.
Don't worry, we'll cover less topics next week.
Yeah, we're sorry we went through so many topics tonight. We have exactly 45 seconds left. I want to thank you all for joining us tonight. We really appreciate it. It's the first show of the new year. We have so many big plans for this year. It's going to blow your brain. It's going to amaze you. You're just going to be crazy with all the stuff we're going to do with Live from the Cave, with NDTV, G-Rose Productions, Mel Roberson, Robert, the Lover of Life, and Roger, aka the production team, and for Keisha Rose, our boss. We want to say thank you for joining us, everybody. Have a wonderful night. We love you. Make sure you think out loud. You love out loud. You live out loud. Don't forget that. Good night.
It's all about
Join us, NDTV, where you will see the talk shows, movies, drama, action, and comedy
Be the first and see it first. Sign up now for free at Indie TV.